Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom to the Torah, Shaz, Yasha, Allah, giving the chorus, all honor, glory, and praise unto the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashema, Mashak, Abashah, that's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh. This is your brother Yasha, Allah, coming back, y'all, with yet another video through the Spirit and power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, Yahweh. All right, shalom, shalom, all right. And as well as a Shar day assignment, or a Shar day assignment. For all that's observing it this today, it started May 4th at sundown, right? That's when we're keeping it, all right, May 4th at sundown. So and this topic is just going into remember the days of old, because this truth is not just about knowing Deuteronomy 28:68. This truth is not just about knowing Revelation 13 breakdown, knowing how to knowing who Esau is, knowing who Jacob is. It's also about remembering the days of old, and this concept of remembering the acts of our forefathers and foremothers, as well as the acts, most importantly, the acts of the Most High, is crucial, and it's pointed out all throughout the scriptures. All right, that we should do that we should remember the days of old, that we should look at the various accounts of our forefathers and foremothers, right? So let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, Deuteronomy 32 and 7. All right, Deuteronomy 32 and 7. All right, it says, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. So that's literally in the law, that we have to remember the days of old, right? So we have to remember the days of old. We can't just be like, well, brothers, they skipping over 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, right? And they trying to get into the prophecies. Hey, the Lord, you of course you got to go into the prophecies, Sirach chapter 39, verse 1, and many other precepts. But look, you also have to eat the whole roll. You have to also remember the days of old, right? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Consider those, right? Consider the time when we were under King David, under King Solomon. Remember the time when we during Judges. Remember the time of Joshua. Remember the time when we were in the wilderness. And you can read about this all in the scriptures, right? It says, remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. The books of Maccabees, First and Second Maccabees, has a lot of history in it, right? A lot of history, a lot of accounts of our forefathers, right, and foremothers, right? Hella verses in every chapter, like 50 verses in every chapter on average. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to a lot, and we're able to have this at our exposal, right? You can get it at your local store. You can look it up online, and you can literally read about the acts of your forefathers and foremothers. All right, Bahashema Mashak Abashah. All right. So remember the acts of our forefathers. Remember the days of old. Right. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, and verse 9. Right. Isaiah chapter 46, verse 9. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 8. Remember this and show yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O you transgressors, right? Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there is none else. I am God and there is none like me. So the Most High literally said again, remember the former things of old. Remember that, right? Don't forget it. If you forget it, hey, read it again. You know what I'm saying? I got to do this too. I got to read the accounts of our people, of our nation, and there's accounts of our people in every one of these books, almost, right? Hey, even in the book of Haggai, even if it's just one or two or three chapters, it's a little bit in there, right? A little history in there, right? Hey, even in the book of Daniel, right? In the Apocrypha books, like Tobit, Judith, All of these books have the various acts of our forefathers and foremothers. And though these days are old, right, they happened a long time ago, we still have to remember them. That's what the Most High is saying to us, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 77 and verse 5, right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 77 and verse 5. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. So even King David, right? Oslaki, this is Asaph. So even Asaph, through the Spirit, he said, look, I have considered the days of old and the years of ancient times. And Asaph is a righteous man. Yet, and guess what he was doing? He was remembering the days of old, right? Let's go to the book of Isaiah, or Slakia, Psalms 44 and 1. It says, we have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. So back then, they didn't have this, right? They didn't have this, the whole 80 books in which they could read the acts of our forefathers. Of course, Israel had records, right? You can read that all throughout the scriptures. We had our own records and books. But a lot of times, like it says in Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 7, we would ask our fathers and our grandparents, just like, today even, right? Even today, you would go to your father, hey, what was it like, during this time? What was it like during the 70s? What was it like during the 60s, right? What was it like during the 50s? And you would ask your elders, right? And they'll break it down to you. It was the same thing in the ancient world, right? We have heard with our ears, O God, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. All right. Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. This is the classic right here. All right, Job, chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. So Job is saying, look, or Salaki, this is Bildad, but hey, you have to inquire of the former age, right? The former age. Inquire of the former age. Inquire of the various things that happened in the past, right? Especially that has to do with our nation. Remember that, right? And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers, all right? So I didn't have too many precepts on this, all right? I didn't have too many precepts, all right? I just wanted to go into, remembering the days of old, right? And reading the various accounts of our forefathers and foremothers, because they're in here. You know what I'm saying? They are in this Bible. All right, let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 7 and verse 3. Salaki, Revelation 1 and 3. Blessed is he that readeth. So the Lord said you're blessed when you read. You're blessed when you read this Bible, right? You're blessed when you're remembering the days of old, right? Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah, because you're not going to know all the accounts if you're not getting down and reading it, right? And it's not the same feeling, somebody telling you it or you reading it yourself, right? You watching it from the live stream, right? Or you actually getting down, taking notes and reading it and letting the Spirit sup with you. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, right? And verse 16, right? All praises. Isaiah 34 and 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. The Lord said, look, seek ye out the book of the Lord and read that. Because within the book of the Lord is what? Our records, right? It's our records in here. All right. It says, no one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. All right. Let's go to the book of 2 Maccabees. All right. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 1. It is also found in the records. It is found in where? It is also found in the records. So we had records, right? Every nation, the people had records. You have the Babylonian Chronicles, okay, in which the Babylonians, during the time of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, which you read in the scriptures, under the reign of Nabopolassar and I believe, and Nebuchadnezzar II, and his successors, right? But during that, in Belshazzar, right? That's called the Neo-Babylonian Empire. During that empire, they had what's called the Babylonian Chronicles, in which they even have accounts of Daniel, accounts of Nebuchadnezzar himself, etc., etc. The sieges of Jerusalem, right? They kept their chronicles, right? The Assyrians had their own chronicles. Persian and Medes had their own chronicles. They had their own writings. Israel, we have our own chronicles. First, Second Chronicles, First Kings, Second Kings, First Samuel, Second Samuel, Ruth, all throughout the scriptures, and records, right? We had that. We kept it, and that's what we're reading right now. Second Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1. It's like it is also found in the records that Jeremy, the prophet, commanded them that were carried away to take of the fire as it had been signified, and how that the prophet, having given them the law, charged them not to forget the commandments of the Lord, and that they should not err in their minds when they see images of silver and gold with their ornaments, right? And with other such speeches exhorted he them that the law should not depart from their hearts, right? So they read that in the records, right? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. All right, Slovakia. Gotta look for this. This is the book of Jeremiah, right? Slovakia. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah. Slovakia. I gotta look for this because our people, right? They weren't dummies, right? They were writing. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 36, and verse 8. And Baruch the son of Neriah did according to all that Jeremiah the prophet commanded him, reading in the book the words of the Lord in the Lord's house. You see that? So he was reading the what? The book of the words of the words of the Lord. All right. So we got to be doing this too. All right. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, same chapter. Chapter 36, verse 17. And they asked Baruch, saying, tell us now, how didst thou write all these words at his mouth? Then Baruch answered them, he pronounced all these words unto me with his mouth, and I wrote them with ink in the book. All right, so Baruch, he wrote books. Our forefathers, they kept records and they wrote books, man. So now it's our time to read them and to remember the acts of the Lord, because they didn't just write it for themselves. Anybody that writes something down, like the chronicles, records, right, journals, they're not just writing it for themselves. Generally, they're writing it for everyone else that will succeed after them, right, and that will read that. You know what I'm saying? So, Khan, I didn't want to make this too long. With that, I'd like to give all honor, Lord, and praise unto Yahweh Shema Mashak Yabashah. Lord willing, this was edifying. A Shar feast of or like a day of Simon. All right, Kwame Asha Allah. Shalom.